Hey, my name is Attorney Walter Wolfnall III. I'm with Disability Resolution PA. Let's talk about the big good things President Biden is doing to go ahead and increase your Social Security benefits. And we're talking about the whole loaf of bread here: disability, retirement, DAC, OX benefits, all that stuff. All right, let's go into it. CNBC article: what Biden's latest moves could signal for Social Security reform efforts. Key points: President Joe Biden campaigned on changes to Social Security. I did a big video on it, got over 300,000 views, including benefit increases and payroll taxes for those making $400,000 and up. Yet his tax proposals this week did not address the program, in part due to the limitations of legislative process the administration could pursue. Okay, so what they're talking about there is they want to go ahead, let me get it over here, and use this act, the Social Security 2100 Act, that existed during the Trump era. They want to tweak it a little bit, and they want to put it in play. And the whole idea is they're basically tweaking it to tax more out of people to go ahead and make up for the shortfall in the trust funds. Let's go back to the article. Here we go. So those whole like $200, real quick. Those whole, these videos, $200 is coming tomorrow. $200 on it's on its way. These videos, they're all clickbait. That's all clickbait. There's not going to be any $200 extra per month. The government usually doesn't act in a financial manner like that. They usually increase based on percentages of certain levels. The poverty level, the average earning level, things like that. Right? Oh, we're going to increase it 2% so that it meets the poverty level. That's how it usually works. Here we go. Experts say a Democratic proposal for the program could still come this year. I hope so. They have to change not hardly much. The SSA actuaries have already approved the details in this act. People who earn more than $400,000 would be subject to the 3.8% Medicare tax. If President Joe Biden's new tax proposal goes through, right? So the idea is he's going to be taxing at a higher rate. To those who are making a significant amount of money per year. But another change, one left over from Biden's campaign that would apply Social Security payroll taxes to people in higher income thresholds, did not make the cut. That's notable because the trust funds that support Social Security are running dry and may be tapped out in less than 20 years. Less than 20 years. Guys, we have a trust fund that's about to run out next year. And then this whole COVID thing has really thrown a wrench in the whole situation. Biden's campaign called for applying Social Security payroll taxes to those making $400,000 and up. This year, wages up to $142,800 are subject to that tax, which is 6.2% of wages for both workers and employers. Just so you understand, there are some taxes where you have to pay them on so much that you earn. If you earn above that amount, you don't have to pay any more towards that. And the reason why is that you don't really get any more benefit out of it. You've tapped out of the potential benefit that you get from it in your life. Okay? So what he's basically doing is he's tapping into the wealthy even more, even though they won't get any benefit from this in their life. All right. That would create a so-called donut hole, exempting those above the wage threshold and then reapplied starting at $400,000. However, over time, that gap would close as the wage base is increased each year. It'd take a while. Biden called for the increased levies to help pay for proposed benefit increases, including who wrote this? Raising the minimum Social Security benefit to at least 125% of the federal poverty level. Let's read that again. Including raising the minimum Social Security benefit to at least 125% of the federal poverty level. Poverty level. Let that sink in. Okay, cool. There are several reasons why higher Medicare levies would make it into Biden's tax package, while the Social Security wouldn't, according to the Director of Economic Policy at the Bipartisan Policy Center. I hate how this article is written. It makes it like it's almost like Yoda wrote it. It's like they're quoting the person at the end. They should be putting them at the beginning. Like, this person said, blah, 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 instead of, this is said, da-da-da-da-da-da, said this person. For one, Biden's tax package is likely to get taken up via budget reconciliation, and Social Security cannot be used in that process per legislative rules. All right, so you know how Democrats keep pushing things through that are not bipartisan in the sense of both people are part of the whole equation to have this law be passed, and they're just shoving it through without any Republicans. Social Security stuff cannot be pushed through on a budget reconciliation. So the point is that, let's call it is, they may not be able to get Social Security into this tax situation, which means they're just taxing more without giving you the real benefit of it, which is just horrible. It's mind-boggling. And they might do that. They may push it through and then just take the funds and then use it for something else. Even just proposing a payroll tax increase for Social Security would draw in naturally a larger debate about the solvency of the program. The program, for the first time ever in 2021, costs more, Social Security, than it actually has coming into it. So there's a solvency problem. First time ever in the history of Social Security benefits, the program now costs more than it takes in. The Medicare changes don't have the same gravity, he said. How much the solvency of Social Security has been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic is open to debate. Well, we're starting to know exactly financially where we stand. The agency's annual trustees report is expected to be released soon. Last April, the trustees' analysis pointed to the program's funds running out in 2035, at which point 79% of promised benefits would be payable. So what they're saying there, just to clarify, is that in the best possible case scenario, on a report that was published before this whole COVID thing really took place, the analysis pointed to the program's funds running out in 2035, which is going to run out way before that, at which point 79% of promised benefits would be payable. So you wouldn't be able to get all of your benefits, only 79% of them, which means that, you guessed it, Social Security benefits are not going to be around in the same way they were in the future. So we should tax the people more now so that potentially we could have that. Or we could tax the people more now, use the money for things, and they'd still end up with a bad situation. We just blame it on needing the money for COVID, constructive behaviors and things. You never know what they're going to do at this point. Other reports have suggested that date could be even sooner due to the pandemic. Yeah, we just talked about that. However, Nancy Altman, president of Social Security Works, an advocacy group for expanding the program, said she does not expect the difference in the upcoming trustees' report to be that big. It's huge. She's wrong. It's huge. There's a major problem. People are not paying in lots of money because the government stopped them from working for 1.5 to 2 years. It's huge. There's entire states where people are not paying taxes. It's huge. It could advance the date by when the funds are expected to run dry to 2034 from 2035, for example. We now know that's wrong. That is incorrect. It's going to be way before then. It's not going to show that much of a difference, Altman said. That is incorrect. It is going to be a huge difference. That may not necessarily stop Democratic leaders in Washington from coming up with a proposal to fix the program. I hope and pray they do. That could include a reintroduction of the Social Security 2100 Act, the thing we were just talking about. A House proposal put forward by Rep. John Larson of Connecticut, Democrat, that has 209 co-sponsors in the last Congress. Think about that. He had 209 other congressmen and women who supported this bill. Think about that. He had 209 congressmen. That is a heck of a lot more than most of the bills that we're seeing passed willy-nilly here and there. 209 co-sponsors, guys. I wouldn't be surprised if sometime this summer there's a Social Security plan, Altman said. Well, that's true because they already have the whole thing written out. They just have to adjust the numbers based upon what's going on with the pandemic. All right, so Biden is doing the right thing when it comes to raising, basically, the potential of raising your benefits to 125% above the poverty level. Yes, if benefits are raised, they will play with the math. They'll decrease your food stamp stuff. They'll increase the cost of Medicare. They'll play all those games. Yes, they're still going to do all those things. So before you write that in the comments, I am aware. Are they going to do those things? Absolutely. They've done it every single time. It's going to happen. It's even in some of the details of the 2100 Act as to where the variances are going to be. But before we get there, let's check this out. We need to understand why more money is important. So I looked up what are the 10 fastest growing costs for older Americans. Right? Because, define older Americans, sure, but bottom line is people getting older, these are the things that cost a lot. Number one, and this is an article from CNBC, Social Security cost of living adjustment could be bigger next year. Continuation of it. Bottom line, 10 fastest growing costs for older Americans. Number one, prescription drug, out-of-pocket, generic brand specialty costs. Okay, cost in 2000 was $1,102. Cost in March of 2021 is now $4,096.93. An outstanding, absolutely inexcusable, and terrible 272% increase in cost for prescription drug out-of-pocket generic brand specialty cost growth. Number two, 272% increase. It's like all of these brilliant Harvard mathematicians and analytical groups, they're either doing this on purpose or they were just incredibly wrong, right? How could these geniuses from Harvard screw it up this bad? Number two, Medicare Part B premiums per month. Cost in 2000 was $45.50. Cost in March 2021, $148.50. That was a 226% increase. Homeowners insurance per year. And this can be controlled by legislation. But we don't, because special interest legislative groups are in place to go ahead and allow homeowners insurance groups to raise the roof on those. Oh, it's the hurricanes. Cost in 2000, $508. Cost in March 2021, $1,414. 178% increase. Number four, veterinarian services for our furry friends. Cost in 2000, $109.300. Cost in 2021, $285.18. 161% increase. I don't know why they've noted. They have a little star next to it. I'll see it later what the deal is with this star. Did they include it? Let's see. And they put a star as to why they put 3 digits after the period. They don't include it, of course. Great. Good job, CNBC. And maybe it could have just been that it didn't print out. Maybe. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 5. Home heating oil per gallon. 2000. $1.15. 2021. Now remember, this is 21 years later, so we're expected to go up. $2.86. It's a 150% increase. Shouldn't have gone up that much. Not in 21 years. Total medical out-of-pocket costs. Used to cost $6,140 in 2020. Now it costs $14,846. It's a 142% increase. Potatoes. Potatoes are on this list. Number 7. 2000 cost $2.98 per 10-pound bag. Now $6.98 in 2021 with a 134% increase. Propane gas per gallon. Used to cost in 2000 $1.01. Now it costs $2.30, 127% increase. Ground chuck burgers per pound, $1.90. Now it is $4.31 at 127% increase. By the way, I went to Walmart the other day. I usually get apple juice in the gallon container at Walmart. They don't sell a gallon anymore. So last month, they stopped selling a gallon. Now they sell these much smaller containers at nearly the same price. It's hard to find anything in Walmart that's in gallon size anymore. Try it. Go there. Go to Publix. Try to find something in a gallon container. It's not that easy. You really have to look. That's because they have all these miniature bottles now. They're getting rid of the gallon containers. They're all ending up at the BJ's and the Costco's and things like that. And instead of getting the 2-gallon and the 5-gallon containers, now you're just getting the 1 gallon. It's all the game. They play it. They own the whole thing. Gasoline, guys. Per gallon, $2,000, $1.31. Now it's $286, which is about to go significantly higher at 118% increase. Real estate taxes per year, $690 in 2000. 2021, $1,494 per year at 170% increase. Let's talk about something else as to why it is important for Social Security recipients to receive more money. The cost of living per state, lowest to highest. Here are the most expensive states to live in based on the U.S. News that uses 2020 data. This comes from patriotsoftware.com, blog accounting, average cost, living by state. The most expensive states, so this data is from resource provided by U.S. News that uses 2020 data from the Council for Community and Economic Research. Okay, let's go back over here. Take a look at the states ranked by cost of living from lowest to highest. You guys want to start at the lowest or go to the highest? The lowest, everybody knows what the lowest ones are. They're what people continuously think of like the belt states, or like that's the redneck state, or the farming state, or the this state, or that state. That's the country state, the rural state. Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri, Michigan, Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, Indiana, North Carolina, West Virginia, Texas, Louisiana, Kansas, Iowa. I proved my point. Those are the cheapest to live in. Now, let's go to the most expensive states. Number 50. California. Is anybody surprised? They shouldn't be. 49. Hawaii. Is anybody surprised? Shouldn't be. 48. Alaska. That is a little bit of a surprise at that one. 47. Massachusetts. 46. Connecticut. 45. Rhode Island. 44. Maryland. 43. New Hampshire. 42. New Jersey. 41, Vermont, 40, Oregon, 39, Maine, 38, Washington, 37, New York. So basically what you could do is the most expensive states to live in, for the most part, are Democrat-led states. And the cheapest states to live in are Republican-based states. The Democrat states have a lot more programs and things that give away benefits to people to try and help change things, modify things, and they would work better if there wasn't so much corruption in politics. The Republican states have more of a capitalistic agenda and family unity, which means that the family where you come from equates to people who are going to help you throughout your life. And the bottom line is that you'll go ahead and push and work really hard and earn your way into owning things and yada yada. And those same traditional systems that are offered in these mostly Democrat-based states do not exist in all these Republican states. Although, to be honest with you, most Republican states have most of the programs that these Democrat-based states have at this point. They may not be as much doled out, and they may not be as detailed with as many options, but pretty much they're existing now. All right, so we all know that. Now, let's talk about what's important here. The Social Security 2100 Act, Congressman John B. Larson, he did a lot of footwork on this. Let's go through. I'm just going to read his little sheet here. I'm just going to do a one-pager. Some of the things I agree with, some of them I don't. We're going to go into that with a much larger video later. Here we go. Social Security 2100 Act, Congressman John B. Larson increases benefits for all current and future Social Security recipients. Benefit increase. Remember that whole 200 more? Well, this is the actual thing that they're trying to do. Cuts taxes for almost 12 million seniors. Ensures the system remains solvent for the rest of the century. Hence the 2100 Act. The Social Security 2100 Act increases benefits. Benefit bump for current and new beneficiaries provides an increase for all beneficiaries that is equivalent to about 2% of the average benefit. The U.S. faces a retirement crisis, and a modest boost in benefits strengthens the one leg of the retirement system that is universal and the most reliable. It's not a lot of money, but it is an increase. Protection against inflation. Improves the annual cost of living adjustment, COLA, which we all know it needs. Formula to better reflect the costs incurred by seniors through adopting a CPI-E formula. This provision will help seniors who spend a greater portion of their income on health care and other necessities. Improvement inflation protection will especially help older retirees and widows who are more likely to rely on Social Security benefits as they age. Protect low-income workers. No one who paid into the system over a lifetime should retire in poverty. The new minimum benefit will be set at 25% above the poverty line and would be tied to wage levels to ensure that the minimum benefit does not fall behind. Cut taxes for beneficiaries. Almost 12 million Social Security recipients would see a tax cut. Presently, Social Security benefits are taxed if a person's non-Social Security income exceeds $25,000. It's actually higher than that now. For an individual, or $32,000 for couples. This would raise the threshold to $50,000 and $100,000 respectively. It should actually be higher than that. It should actually be higher than that. Holding SSI, Medicaid, and CHIP beneficiaries harmless ensures that any increases in benefits from the bill does not result in a reduction in SSI benefits or loss of eligibility for Medicaid or CHIP. They need to be more detailed on this one. I want you to remember that. Let me read it again. But this is, you know how you guys are, what if they do this? They're going to reduce it. They need to be more detailed with this one. But let me read it again so you guys know. Holding SSI, Medicaid, and CHIP beneficiaries harmless ensures that any increase in benefit from the bill does not result in a reduction in SSI benefits or loss of eligibility for Medicaid or CHIP. Cool. The social, and I'm only going to do the first page because I'm doing a much bigger video on this to go into very, very specific detail. The Social Security 2100 Act strengthens the trust fund. Have millionaires and billionaires pay the same rate as everyone else. Presently, payroll taxes are not collected on wages over $132,900. We already went over it's up to $142. This legislation would apply the payroll tax to wages above $400,000. This provision would only affect the top 0.4% of wage earners. Although $400,000 really in the scheme of things of like what wealthy people actually make isn't that much money. I mean, there's wealthy people that make $1 million a month, you know. So that's, 50 cents per week to keep the system solvent. Gradually phase in an increase in contribution rate beginning in 2020, so that by 2043 workers and employers would pay 7.4% instead of 6.2%. For the average worker, this means paying an additional 50 cents per week every year to keep the system solvent. We shouldn't need this if we just ran it correctly. Social Security Trust Fund established, or bring that in until we get rid of this COVID issue and put it into the legislation that it must be taken out by a certain date. So they either fix it or we vote them out. Social Security Trust Fund established. Social Security provides all-in-one retirement, survivor, and disability benefits funded through the dedicated FICA contribution paid by workers. There are technically two trust funds, old age and survivors, OASI, the disability insurance, DI, and that are usually referred to as the Social Security Trust Fund. Okay? This provision combines the OASI and DI trust funds into one Social Security Trust Fund to ensure that all benefits will be paid. That's good and bad. We're taking money for, we're making one big pot instead of having two separate pots. There's some issues there, but we'll go into that. I'm not going to go through more of it than that. We're just going to start with that. So Biden's plan has nothing to do with $200 extra per month. It just doesn't. And every day that goes by, we're less likely to see another stimulus, even though they keep promoting that they're going to be doing this and this and this. But realistically, with each state that opens up, we probably are not going to see another stimulus. So with that said, or if we do, it'll be a small one. This is the plan that they're going with. They're going to be utilizing the Social Security 2100 Act, but we have to make sure that if they're going to be taxing us, that those taxes are tied directly to what the funds should be used for, and that we're not just getting taxed with the government being able to put it into a fund that they can use for things other than the purpose of the initial tax, which happens a lot. My name is Attorney Walter Wolfnott III. I will catch up with you a little bit later. Please remember to subscribe, like, and leave 5-star reviews. Catch up with me during the live, 8 to 10, every Thursday. I go live on YouTube, Eastern Standard Time, 8 to 10 every Thursday. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye. That's Shadow. Literally just putting his little stamp at the end of that video. Have fun. Bye-bye. And now Sweetie's over there snorting. That's good. I'll catch you a little bit later. Bye-bye.